The game of manipulation. They thought they had you, didn't they? Like a puppet on strings, dancing to their twisted tune. They relished in their ability to twist you. You, the unsuspecting player, lured into their web, each move carefully calculated, each word coded in false promises, each gesture a masked lie. They had you right where they wanted you. For a time, it felt like they were the masters and you the fool, too blind to see the strings tightening around your throat. But what if I told you that this was never your defeat? What if I told you that you didn't lose? That in fact, it was all part of a greater plan you never even saw coming? What if, in the end, it's them who will never forget the lesson you taught them, the lesson they never thought they would learn? The world is a stage, and life is a game where only the truly aware can play to win. We are all players in this grand theatre, acting our parts in a show that is as much about deception as it is about reality. You were always a part of this game, from the very beginning, even if you didn't know it. They made you believe you were nothing more than a pawn. They made you believe they controlled the board, but they underestimated you. The moment they thought they had you, the moment they felt they had tightened their grip, was the moment you began to wake up. The moment you began to realize that their strings weren't as invisible as they thought. At first, it wasn't clear. At first, they kept you in the dark. They kept you blind to the truth. Their words sounded sweet. Their promises are almost too good to be true. And you, starved for validation, for meaning, for purpose, devoured every lie they fed you. You swallowed their manipulation without a second thought. Their lies became your reality, and your reality, theirs. But deep inside you, a seed was planted, a seed of doubt, of awakening, and over time it began to grow. The illusions they created for you started to crack. The strings that once held you became taut, too tight, too obvious to ignore. You began to feel the suffocating weight of their control, and in that weight, you felt something stir within you. An impulse, a drive, a desire to break free. The game had shifted, and you didn't even need to speak. You didn't need to confront them. You didn't need to show them your cards. No, the game shifted because you began to understand the true nature of manipulation. You began to see their tactics not as weapons, but as weaknesses. You saw their moves not as clever strategies, but as desperate attempts to maintain power. In your silence, in your stillness, you became their worst nightmare. They couldn't control you, they couldn't bend you, and they couldn't predict you. You, my friend, became the enigma they could never solve. They thought you were weak, they thought you were an easy target, they thought you would break under their pressure, crumble under their influence, but you didn't. You were made of something far stronger than they ever realized. The moment they believed they had pushed you into a corner, the moment they thought they had broken you, you delivered a plot twist, a twist that would become the most unforgettable lesson of their lifetime. In one swift, precise movement, you broke free. You stood tall. You faced them with eyes wide open, and you let them see the truth they were too blind to acknowledge. You were never their puppet. You were always the puppeteer. You were always the one in control, even when you didn't know it. Their manipulation was nothing more than an illusion, a game they thought they had mastered, a game that you, in your silence, in your understanding, unraveled piece by piece. You learned their every move before they even made it. You saw the patterns they couldn't see, and when the time came, you struck. You delivered a plot twist that took them by surprise. You became the thing they feared most, the one they could never control. But what you have to understand is that this plot twist wasn't just about revenge. It wasn't about getting back at them for the pain they caused you, the lies they told you, the way they used you. No, the plot twist was something far greater. It was about power. It was about understanding your own worth, your own strength, and your own ability to rise above the manipulation and control that others try to impose on you. The plot twist was about waking up to the truth of who you really are, not who they tried to make you. It was about reclaiming your power, your dignity, your voice, and your freedom. And when you did that, when you stood there, unbroken, unbowed, they had no choice but to learn. They had no choice but to understand that you were never their pawn, and now they would never be able to forget the lesson you taught them. They will never forget how you turned their game against them. They will never forget the way you made them see themselves for who they really were. Masters of nothing but deceit, manipulators of weak minds, architects of falsehoods. You became their teacher, their lesson, their reckoning. And in that lesson, they learned the harsh truth that no matter how hard they try, they can never break someone who refuses to be broken. They can never control someone who understands the game better than they do. They can never win against someone who has already seen through their lies. But here's the thing, while they may never forget that lesson, neither should you. You must never forget the power you discovered within yourself, the strength you found when you stopped playing by their rules, when you stopped following their script. You must never forget that you were the one who turned the tables, that you were the one who took control of the narrative. And in doing so, you became something greater than you ever thought possible. Now, you stand at a crossroads. You stand at a point in your life where you've learned the greatest lesson you could ever learn, that you are not defined by the lies others tell you. You are not bound by the manipulation they attempt to impose. You are not a pawn in anyone's game. You are the player, the master of your own fate, the author of your own story. The plot twist you delivered wasn't just a victory over them. It was a victory over yourself. It was a victory over your doubts, your fears, and your limitations. It was a victory over the part of you that once believed you were powerless. The road ahead of you is yours to walk. And as you walk it, you must carry the lesson with you. You must carry the knowledge that you are stronger than any manipulator, any deceiver, any controller. You must carry the truth that no one can ever break you again, because you know who you are. You know your worth. You know your power. And so, when the next player comes into your life, when the next manipulator tries to weave their web around you, you will be ready. You will see them before they even make their move. You will recognize their tactics, their lies, their games, but you won't play. You won't fall for their traps. You won't let them have the power they crave. Instead, you will stand firm, unshaken, unafraid, knowing that you are the one who controls the game. You will play by your own rules, and when the time comes, you will deliver another plot twist. But this time, it will be even more unforgettable. Because the truth is, you've learned the greatest lesson of all, that the only game worth playing is the one where you are always in control. The only plot that matters is the one you write. And the only lesson worth teaching is the one where you prove to yourself and to the world that you cannot be manipulated, controlled, or broken. You are the one who delivers the lessons. You are the one who defines the game. And that, my friend, is the ultimate power. The kind of power that doesn't need to be flaunted or shouted from the rooftops. It's the kind of power that simply exists within you, steady and unwavering, ready to be unleashed when the world dares to test you. It's a power that doesn't come from dominance or force, but from the quiet confidence that you are untouchable, that you are beyond the reach of those who try to control you. It's the power of self-awareness, of understanding your worth and your strength in a way that no one can ever take from you again. It's the power that makes you untamed, untouchable, invincible. Once you realize this truth, once you understand that manipulation can never truly touch you unless you allow it to, something shifts deep within. You begin to see the world through a new lens, a lens that reveals the games people play, the masks they wear, and the strings they pull to create the illusion of control. You see them for what they truly are: fragile, desperate creatures who are afraid of being exposed, afraid of being seen for who they really are. And in that fear, they try to make others feel small, to make others believe they are powerless. But the truth is, their power is built on nothing but lies. And you, now that you understand the truth, are the one who will expose it all. There's a certain kind of beauty in realizing your own power. It's the beauty that comes from knowing that you are not a victim of circumstances, that you are not at the mercy of others. You are the one who decides your fate. You are the one who shapes your reality. No one else has the right to dictate how you live or what you believe. They may try, they may manipulate, they may use every trick in the book to make you doubt yourself. But as soon as you realize that you are the one who holds the pen, you become unstoppable. You take back the narrative, you take back the control, and in doing so, you reclaim your life, your purpose, and your destiny. But this power, this quiet strength, doesn't come overnight. It's something that takes time to cultivate, something that is earned through experiences and struggles. It's something that is built slowly, piece by piece, over the course of years. It comes from surviving the manipulations of others and learning from them. It comes from being pushed to your limits and realizing that you didn't break. It comes from facing your fears, your doubts, and your insecurities and coming out on the other side stronger than you were before. It comes from looking back at the times you thought you were defeated, looking back at the moments where you thought you couldn't go on, and realizing that you were always the one in control. You were always the one who had the power. In the midst of all this, there will be moments when doubt tries to creep back in. There will be moments when you feel the pull of the past, when the ghosts of past manipulations whisper in your ear, reminding you of the times you were fooled, the times you were used. But in those moments, you must remember something crucial. Those who sought to control you were never as strong as you. They were weak, fragile individuals who needed to manipulate others to feel powerful. They had no real strength, no real sense of self-worth, no real identity. And that is where you have the advantage. You don't need to manipulate others to feel whole. You don't need to use others to prove your worth. You know who you are, and that is the greatest weapon you have in this world. You are not defined by the opinions of others. You are defined by your own actions, your own beliefs, and your own ability to rise above the games they play. There's something intoxicating about this kind of power, isn't there? The kind of power that comes from within. It's the kind of power that doesn't depend on anything external. It doesn't rely on the approval of others or the validation of those who try to control you. It's the kind of power that comes from standing firm in your own truth, even when the world around you tries to tell you something different. It's the kind of power that comes from being unapologetically yourself, even when others try to tear you down, even when they try to convince you that you're not enough, because you know deep down that you are more than enough. You are everything you need to be, and that is the essence of true power: being enough, being whole, being complete, without needing anything or anyone to validate that. You've seen through the illusions, you've seen through the lies, you've seen through the manipulation, and now you walk in the truth of your own strength. No one can take that away from you. No one can shake that foundation you've built within yourself. No one can break you because you're unbreakable. But don't mistake this quiet strength for passivity. Don't mistake it for weakness or indecision. This power is not about sitting idly by while others try to control you. This power is about recognizing the games being played and choosing not to play them. This power is about standing your ground, knowing when to walk away, and knowing when to fight back. It's about knowing when to be silent and knowing when to speak your truth. It's about understanding that you are the one who sets the rules in your life, and you will not let anyone bend you to their will. The truth is, most people who try to manipulate others do so out of fear. Fear of being exposed. Fear of being seen for who they really are. They manipulate because it's the only way they know how to feel powerful, to feel in control. But here's the thing they don't understand. True power doesn't come from controlling others. True power comes from controlling yourself. It comes from knowing that no matter what anyone says or does, you have the ability to rise above it, to walk away from it, and to stand tall in your own truth. And once you realize that, you will never again be the victim of manipulation. You will never again be the one who is controlled. You will always be the one in charge of your own fate, your own destiny. This power is not something that can be given to you. It is something that you must claim for yourself. It is something that you must fight for, something that you must cultivate with every decision you make, with every action you take. It's the power of knowing that you are worthy of respect, of love, of happiness, and that you will never settle for less than what you deserve. It's the power of knowing that you are enough and that you don't need anyone else to tell you that. It's the power of knowing that you can walk away from anyone who tries to use you, and you can do so without hesitation or guilt. And when you walk away, when you take back your power, you will find that the world begins to shift around you. People who once tried to manipulate you will no longer have the same effect. They will no longer be able to pull your strings because you will have cut them. They will no longer be able to control you because you will have become someone who cannot be controlled. And in that moment, you will understand that the ultimate victory is not in defeating them, but in defeating the part of you that ever believed you could be defeated. The ultimate victory is in the moment when you realize that you are the one who holds the power. You always have been. So walk with your head held high. Walk with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. Walk with the knowledge that you are untouchable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. Because you are the one who controls the narrative of your life. You are the one who decides your fate. And no one, no matter how hard they try, can ever take that from you. They may try to undermine you, try to tear you down with words, actions, or manipulation. But what they don't realize is that they are powerless in the face of someone who has already recognized their own power. They are fighting a battle that was lost before it even began. They are fighting against someone who has already defeated the most dangerous adversary in existence, themselves. You see, the true enemy in life isn't the people who try to control you, the people who use manipulation as their weapon. The true enemy is the part of you that doubts your own worth, the part of you that wonders if you are good enough, strong enough, or capable enough to rise above. When you conquer that part of yourself, the part that questions your ability to thrive, the part that fears failure and the consequences of standing alone, you will have won the only battle that truly matters. All the external forces, all the manipulations of others, become irrelevant when you fully understand that no one can control you unless you allow them to. It's in this realization that you begin to find your true freedom, the kind of freedom that doesn't rely on escaping from situations, but the kind of freedom that exists within you, no matter where you are or who is around you. It's the freedom that comes from knowing that you have the power to choose how you react to everything that life throws at you. The people who try to manipulate, use, or control you will always exist. They are an inevitable part of the human experience. But what you need to understand is that they are not your source of power. The source of your power is within you. It's the part of you that stands firm in the face of adversity, that recognizes that nothing outside of you can dictate your worth or your path unless you allow it. Think about the moments in your life when you felt powerless. Think about the times when someone tried to control you, make you feel small, make you feel like you didn't matter. Those moments can be some of the most painful experiences a person can face. We've all been there, haven't we? The sting of someone trying to push you down, to make you believe that you are nothing without them, nothing without their approval. But the truth is that in those moments, the only thing that is truly being tested is your belief in yourself. You see, manipulation only works if you let it. It only succeeds if you are still tethered to the idea that someone else can define your value, that their opinion can dictate your worth. But the moment you realize that you do not need anyone's validation to be whole, that your worth is not dependent on the approval of others, that's when the game changes. When you step into the understanding that you are the author of your own story, the director of your own fate, that's when you become invincible. No one can dictate who you are. No one can rewrite your script. No one can manipulate you into becoming something you are not. The lies they try to tell you lose their power because you see them for what they are. Empty words, hollow threats, feeble attempts to control what they cannot understand or accept. The strength to resist their manipulation doesn't lie in fighting them directly, in confronting them head-on with anger or bitterness. The true strength lies in your ability to walk away without a word, to step away from their grip with nothing but your self-assured silence. It's in the calm, steady knowledge that you are above their petty games. You don't need to waste your energy trying to prove your worth to anyone. You are enough, and nothing they say or do can change that. You will encounter those who will attempt to manipulate you, just as you will encounter challenges, hardships, and people who try to bring you down. But in every encounter, there will be one constant: your strength. It's something they can never take from you, no matter how hard they try. When you realize that your value is intrinsic and independent of anyone else's opinions or actions, you unlock the truest form of power. And from that place, no one can reach you. The beauty of this power is that it's rooted in resilience. It's rooted in the understanding that life is not about avoiding difficulties or escaping pain. It's about how you rise from them, how you respond, and how you allow those experiences to shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. It's the understanding that every obstacle, every manipulation, every hardship is just another test to prove your worth to yourself, not to anyone else. Once you pass the test within yourself, no external forces can shake you. You will be pushed to your limits. You will be tempted to doubt yourself, to question your abilities, to wonder if the constant pressure will eventually crack you. But the thing is, pressure only creates diamonds. The more they try to chip away at you, the more they try to manipulate you, the stronger you become. It is through these tests that you learn who you truly are. It is through these struggles that you come face to face with your own power, your own untapped potential. You will come to realize that you are the one who has been in control the entire time, that your strength was always there, waiting for you to acknowledge it, waiting for you to unleash it. And once you do, once you truly understand this power, you will no longer be bound by anyone else's expectations. You will no longer feel the weight of the opinions of others. Their attempts to control you will become irrelevant because you will no longer need their approval. You will no longer need their validation. You will be free from the fear of their judgment, the fear of being manipulated. And in that freedom, you will soar to new heights. But understand this: the true test of your strength will not come when things are easy. It will not come when everything is smooth and clear. The true test will come when things are hard, when you are pushed to your breaking point, when the weight of the world seems too much to bear. It will come when someone tries to make you feel small, when they try to take from you what they cannot understand. It will come when the world throws obstacles in your way, when the pressure seems unbearable, and when you wonder if you can keep going. That is when you will find your true power. That is when you will see just how unbreakable you are. And that is when you will deliver your greatest lesson, not just to the world, but to yourself. You will realize that you are a force to be reckoned with, that no matter how many times you are knocked down, you will always rise again, and you will rise stronger, more determined, and more unshakable than ever before. Every time someone tries to manipulate you, every time they try to make you doubt yourself, you will remember this truth. They can never take away your power unless you let them. You are the only one who holds the key to your strength. You are the only one who can dictate your worth. And once you fully realize that, once you fully step into your own power, you will be unstoppable. When you look at the people who tried to break you, who tried to manipulate you into becoming something you're not, you will no longer see them as threats. You will see them as people who were so consumed by their own fear that they tried to bring you down to their level. You will see them as the broken, fearful individuals they are. People who are too afraid to stand in their own power, too afraid to face their own weaknesses. And in that understanding, you will feel nothing but pity, because you know that they will never experience the true freedom you now possess. You have already won. You have already broken free from the chains of manipulation. You have already risen above the petty games and the small minds of those who try to control you. And now, you walk forward with the knowledge that you are untouchable, you are unbreakable, you are free. So, walk confidently into your future. Hold your head high, knowing that you are in control. No one, no matter how hard they try, can ever take away your power. It is yours and yours alone, and it will remain with you forever. In the end, the true power lies within you, untouchable, unshakable, and unwavering. The moment you realize that no one can define your worth, manipulate your choices, or break your spirit, you reclaim your freedom. You are the master of your fate, the author of your story, and the one who controls your destiny. The games others play, their manipulations and lies, lose their power because you no longer allow them to control your narrative. You are unstoppable, and no one can ever take that from you.